Hello YouTube, I'm David with the David West channel. Today I want to give you a class on making the fire roll. I want to give you all the information I can think of to make it a success for you, to make it easy for you. I have a playlist with many videos on the technique, demonstrating the technique, showing all the variations. So let me see if I can go through this one more time and show you how easy the fire roll is. First thing you're going to need is 100% cotton balls. And I never knew that you could buy synthetic cotton balls. I've never seen them, but apparently you can. So get 100% cotton balls. You can use the cotton pads, you can use Kotex, you can use cotton gauze, but you cannot use dryer lint. Dryer lint is too many particles, too many broken fibers of cotton. It will not work. You need the long, continuous cotton fibers that you find in a cotton ball. The ashes that we're going to use, another common question is, what kind of ashes? Any ashes that comes from burning wood is the perfect medium. So you'll want to use any wood ashes. Now, when you take the cotton ball out, it'll become apparent where the sides are and where the roll is at. You can tell this is rolled up, that's one of the sides, and this is one of the sides. So many times it's actually hard to find the leading edge, but you want to pick at it and it'll become apparent where the leading edge is at to where you can unroll it. Now these are jumbo cotton balls. Usually they take one length of cotton and roll it up into a cotton ball, but these jumbos were made differently. They took two pieces and just overlapped them, which is all right because we only need a half of the cotton ball to make the fire roll. All right, now it is sprinkling outside a little bit, so I'm going to cover this up while I go ahead and process up my pine needles tinder bundle. These are loblolly pine needles, bundles of 3. The needles are spiraled, and the loblolly comes in about 5 to 8 inch needles. These are about 5 inches. I like to take and process them up and then collect up all this powder and put it right on top, because that's where I'm going to put the ignited fire roll.
We'll make another one up.
All right, now I'll be using a 2x4. If you go to my playlist, the Rudiger Roll playlist, I believe it's called, I think I have it named, the playlist called Fire Roll / Rudiger Roll. Those are the two names for the technique. A lot of people complain that I use a 2x4 instead of something natural. You can use all kinds of stuff, a split stick, a flat rock, your knife handle, and I have all those videos in that playlist. But today, for demonstration purposes, let's use this one. This will make it very easy to show you how to get it done. Another question that people have is just how many ashes do we use? You know, I always tell people use about a half a teaspoon. That right there is a whole teaspoon. Let me see if I can give you something for you to gauge it by. Hold on. Like, you could put a heaping teaspoonful, half a teaspoon, quarter teaspoon. It's all going to work. But the best amount is something about this much here, compared to that penny, like a half a teaspoon. And we're just going to put it at the very end. Put it on there for about, I don't know, about 1/3 of the cotton. And now that I see it laid out, that's more ashes than I need. I really only needed half of that. But as you practice with this technique, you'll see what works best for you. All right, now you want to take and try to roll it up as tightly as you can. I'll roll it a little bit with my fingertips, and then as I'm pressing down, pull it back towards me, which tightens it up. And roll it a little bit more, pull it back towards me, and just keep on rolling it. Something else that you need to know. These ashes that are on the bottom board, it's good that they're there, because the ashes that gets on the bottom board and the top board helps to grip the roll, force the roll to roll and get tighter and tighter. If those ashes aren't there, these boards will just slide right over the top of this and flatten it out. So once again, I have too many ashes on the board, but it's really this part of how many ashes you put in the fire roll, how much is on the outside, how much is, on the upper board. It's very flexible. It's not critical. You can have too much, too little, and it still works. Still works well. Now let's give it a few forward rolls. The reason I'm going to give it a few forward rolls, you can give a few forward rolls with your hand to get it started. And then we'll give it a few forward rolls with the board to tighten this up even more. This is going to have to be tightened up to be able to withstand the pressures of rolling the fire roll. So let's tighten it up some more. And at this point, you have a fire roll ready to roll. You want to make sure that you remember what the orientation is. Many times when you're rolling this, it'll fall on the ground, and when you put it back down, you'll want to put it back down on the right orientation. Because as you see, this is the right way here. As you see, when I'm rolling it this way, it tends to tighten it up more. If I picked it up off the ground if I picked it up off the ground and happened to put it in there wrong, that would be the unraveling position. I see people making this mistake, and you need to remember, like this light side here goes to the left, this darker side is going to be on the right, or if you want to go by pointiness. But somehow you need to make a mental note of which side is the left and keep the left to the left all the time. And another question is, well, how much downward pressure do you put? How long should I be rolling it? That's all depending on you. Now, it usually takes me about 10 rolls to get ignition. I call one roll a forward and a return. But people that don't press as hard as me might have to roll it 20 times. People that press way harder than me only have to press it 5 or 6 times. It's dependent on how much pressure you put down, your technique. And also, I try to get a long stroke. Some people are right here. Let's say this is the fire roll. Some people are just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, only using these couple of inches. Well, if you're using like 3 inches here, you're only actually getting about 1.5 inches of travel on the roll. I try to make as long of a stroke with my top board as possible. I feel like it gets ignition faster like that. So let me do 10 rolls with the board, and then we'll look at it and we'll see if it's smoking. If there isn't any smoke coming out of the fire roll, don't pick it apart like you see so many people do, thinking that you're going to get oxygen to the inside and make it ignite. You go back and roll it some more until you see smoke emanating from the fire roll. All right, there's no smoke coming out of it. I need to roll it some more. This condensation mark right here is a good sign that it's probably already ignited on the inside. But do not tear into them. Just go back and roll it some more until you see smoke coming out of it. at some point, you will see smoke coming out of it. It's still not smoking. Like I said, there's all kinds of moisture out here this morning. I'm gonna go back and roll it some more. But at some point, just like this is doing, you'll see the smoke coming out of it. And you want to try to loosen it up a little bit so that ember has a chance to spread. Like this side over here is really, really tight. So I'm gonna try to loosen it up so that when I go to use it in my tinder bundle, that ember can spread. Now, you can reverse roll them when they wind up this tight and the ember's having a hard time spreading. You can take and at that time put them in 180 degrees out and reverse roll it to try to loosen all this cotton up. But as you see, that ember has burned from the center to the outside to where it can finally get good oxygen. Now, there's no need to delay putting it in your tinder bundle, but I'm just trying to show you, you know, all the details, the things you need to think about and look at. Remember now, it's sprinkling out here, so that's why everything's taking longer than usual. All right, I'm gonna do one more in regular speed and show you what it looks like without all the talking. All right, half of a cotton ball. About a half a teaspoon of ashes. You put it on a third of the cotton. Tighten it up with your hand. Tighten it up with the board. And if it's not smoking, and that is really, really tight, I'm going to reverse roll it. Go back and roll it some more. And we'll give that ember a chance to burn to the top. Remember, these are wet conditions. I don't know if you can see all the rain sprinkling around me. Let's give it some more. Now, you're not going to have these issues when you're doing it in dry conditions. And since the top part of these pine needles are wet, we'll use the bottom part. We should be able to get ignition all right. It's not that hard, really. It's a whole lot easier than what I showed you today because of the rain. But go ahead and give it a try. Come back and comment and let me know if you were successful with it. All right, y'all. I appreciate you joining me on this one. We'll catch you on the next one.